Good afternoon, children. Last time in our introductory class on viruses, we discussed about the definition, types of viruses according to the genetic material, that is DNA or RNA, some important milestones by various scientists, their year of discoveries, and what important achievement they are credited with. Then we also discussed about some unique characteristics of viruses, most striking of which is how at times they behave like living things and at the same time they have qualities of non-living things, and that is why very rightly they are called as the biologist puzzle all over the world. I had also introduced two new terms, capsid or the protein coat and capsomere, which is the subunit of the capsid or protein coat. After that, a table of three types of viruses we discussed as given by Holmes 1948. We talked about phytophageny, the plant viruses, zoophageny, the animal viruses, and about phageny, the ones that parasitize the lower organisms. Then we closed our class last time on the qualities or characteristics of the living world, and at the other time we also contradicted it how it can be also supporting the non-living characteristics, right? Today in our new class we are going to talk about the genetic material, that is nucleic acid, and how in the viruses we'll be further talking about subtypes of DNA or RNA, that is what type of genetic material is present in various viruses. Let us begin. In the first hand of our discussion today, let us also begin with our last time's repetition that viruses at a time contain either DNA or RNA. They do not have at a time where they represent both the genetic material together. So when a virus has DNA as the genetic material, we call it as deoxyvirus. And at the time when it is having only RNA, we call it as RNA virus or ribovirus. Then examples, we talk about all bacterial viruses, like what we call as bacteriophages, right? All the phages in this category, they come in the DNA category. And also most of the animal viruses, they contain DNA, like even in our bodies, including humans, we all contain DNA. Then let us talk about, alright, we'll continue on one side first. DNA viruses, depending on whether is it single-stranded or double-stranded. See, small d and s means double-stranded or two strands of the DNA helix. Then here SS, small s, these are not capital, children. Look at them clearly. These are small d and s, and this is SS. So this means single-stranded DNA. The examples are in dsDNA, bacteriophages, adenovirus, I'll introduce this term just now, pox virus, and herpes virus. Another virus in which this DNA is circular in shape, it is hepatitis B and papilloma virus. I'll just now tell you the meaning of the terms I am talking new. Another term, linear DNA, that linear means straight shape. If here it was circular DNA, then here it is straight DNA, that is seen in herpes virus and most of the phages. Now herpes is coming as a new word, children. Let us talk about what is it. I'll just tell you what is it. Herpes is a contagious disease. Contagious means infectious, and this causes painful spots on the skin, especially on the face and sexual organs, and there is no cure for this. However, daily medicines can prevent or shorten the outbreaks. So herpes is a viral infection. Just now as we discussed, it is a double-stranded DNA. This is here just now we talked about that herpes virus. It is coming under double-stranded DNA. And what is herpes? Just now I told you. Then another new word that is coming is papilloma virus. Right? Papilloma is a type of wart. So let's talk about another new term. Papova virus. It causes a variety of abnormal growths in animals. Warts that we call as papillomas in humans, dogs and other animals. Cervical cancer. Cervix, children, it is the lower end of the uterus in females. So very frequent cancer in most of the women all over the world is a cervical cancer. Then tumors, also called as polyomas in mice, etc. So let's talk of these new terms first before we come to our detailed part. First term I introduced, children, is herpes. Another, I told you a word, papovavirus, right, which causes a number of abnormal growths in animals, warts, papillomas, etc. Then another word we call as coliphage. Coli is the term from E. coli, the bacteria, that is Escherichia coli, the complete name, and phage means to eat up. So the virus that eats up E. coli is called as coliphage, and this is a type of bacteriophage. Bacteriophage means the virus which phage, that is eats up the bacteria, right? So that infects E. coli. Some more new terms, children. Nowadays we are talking and hearing quite a lot of these. For example, SARS-CoV. In last 20 years, several viral epidemics have taken place, like SARS-CoV, and this is the year 2002 to 3. So the abbreviation means severe acute respiratory syndrome, and CoV means coronavirus. So this is a family of coronavirus. Once again, severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus. Another very frequently heard disease, H1N1 influenza, right? H1N1 in 2009, this was as an epidemic again. So H1N1 flu virus, this is swine flu. This is flu virus, FLU, and this is swine flu, and the full form of H1N1 is hemagglutinin and neuraminases. These are the proteins on the outer envelope of viruses. Once again, H1N1 influenza is a type of flu, right? We also call it as swine flu, but H means hemagglutinin, 1, N means neuraminases, and both of them, they are proteins on the outer envelope of virus. Just to move further, let me tell you, viruses are of two types, enveloped and naked. Some viruses, they have an envelope over them, right? So we call them enveloped. For example, HIV, herpes virus, etc. And some viruses, they do not have any envelope, so we call them as naked or without an outer coating or envelope. For example, TMV. Here, the envelope may be smooth or it may have outgrowths or spikes like the ones that we have seen nowadays, the coronavirus. It is having spikes on the outer surface. Alright, coming to the technical terms, back to it. So we have further, after H1N1, MERS-CoV, MERS-CoV, that means Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, coronavirus. So after SARS, it is MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, coronavirus. And this was more recent, that is 2012. And nowadays, of course, the whole world, however, we know it already that how we are struggling all around. COVID-19 is coronavirus disease of 2019. Coronavirus disease, right? So CO means corona, VI virus, and D for disease. So what is COVID-19? The one that has created a havoc all around the world. It's an RNA virus, RNA, right? And the round viruses, they are surrounded by spiky proteins, which makes them look like a corona or crown of the sun. So it's a very interesting thing. Why is it called corona? Because the shape of the virus, the round structure, as we have seen it on television, it is having the spiky proteins, and the same makes it resemble to the crown or corona of sun. Moving further, another word which is more frequently heard nowadays, hepatitis, which is a serious disease of body organ liver. That's a liver is one of the largest gland of our body, and this is 1.5 kilos in our weight, and that is 1500 grams roughly. And there are three types of hepatitis that affect the liver, A, B, and C. Coming next to adenovirus, where we heard this word just now. Our new topic, here we talked about adenovirus under double-stranded DNA. So what is adenovirus, children? It's a group of DNA viruses, and this was first discovered in adenoid tissue. So adeno and virus, there are two parts of this word. So the virus that was first discovered in the adenoid tissue, of which most of which they cause respiratory diseases. So what is the adenoid tissue in our body? The pharyngeal tonsil, right? Pharyngeal means in the pharynx, the tonsil, and this is the lymphatic tissue behind the nasal cavity. So that's the adenovirus. I'm just telling, see on this page children, look at the heading, I have written extra, because this is not directly given in the lesson, but every time these words come up and then because you don't know the right meaning, we don't understand properly. So I'm basically telling you what is the meaning of these words like herpes, papovavirus or coliphage or hepatitis or adenovirus, etc. Right? So it's better that you write it down and keep revising timely. Adenoid, just now I told you, is the meaning of which means pharyngeal tonsil or a lymphatic tonsil behind the nasal cavity. Lymphatic tissue, sorry. Then the unit of measurement that will come in our next discussion, 1 angstrom, ANGSTROM, 1 angstrom. It is depicted by this 1A and there's a small 0 at the top. So this is actually a Swedish alphabet. This is not 0, but this A is actually a Swedish alphabet like this. We call it as angstrom, and how much it means is 1/10 billionth of a meter. Rightly, it means 1/10 billionth of a meter or 0.1 nanometer or 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. However you represent, so this will be now talked about in our further topics. Then another very interesting thing, a question, is there anything more small than viruses? And the answer is yes. So what is it? There are two answers, prions and viroids. So in the beginning children, I told you that viruses are combination of nucleic acid and protein, right? So here they are separate. If it's only the protein that can invade the cells and somehow direct their own duplication, it is a prions. So P for proteins, remember. And this is much smaller than virus because protein alone won't be of any use in virus. Protein has to assemble with the nucleic acid. So here it's just protein that can invade the cells and we call it as prions. Then viroid is only the RNA, right? So we had those extra terms and now we come to our third topic, that is the previous topic only before we come to third. So we started with our discussion about the genetic material and I introduced you how DNA can be double-stranded DNA, and that's why I told you the words to understand adenovirus, herpes virus, hepatitis, etc. You should understand now. Coming to single-stranded DNA, and the example is coliphage, just now I told you, or the phage or the virus that attacks E. coli, right? Then papovavirus, I had also explained just now. Then another coliphage 5 into 174, this has circular DNA, and coliphage FD, which means linear DNA. Coming to RNA as a genetic material, yes, these viruses are called riboviruses, and examples if we talk, they are all plant viruses and some animal viruses, right? So RNA viruses, they could be DS, that is double-stranded, or SS, that is single-stranded. In DS, we'll talk about retrovirus and tumor virus. Tumor, children, you understand, is a mass of cells which are continuously dividing, right? But what is a retrovirus? See, understand this. Retrovirus, you have to understand like this. Suppose there's an organism that has DNA as the genetic material, right? Suppose this is the cell, any animal cell for example, and this is the nucleus, and inside are these chromatin fibers, and here is the DNA, right? And this animal cell has to form proteins. So what forms proteins in an animal cell, children, or a plant cell? There are structures what we call as, yes, you're right, ribosomes. Now what happens is, if this DNA, what we call as the hereditary information or the bearers of heredity that is carrying it on itself, this will direct the ribosomes to make proteins. But the problem is this DNA cannot come out of the nucleus. It's like a prison inside. So this DNA will make mRNA, or called as messenger RNA, like a informer, or because it cannot come out of this envelope or the what we call a prison over here, this will form RNA, that is called mRNA on itself, and this is called as transcription. Alright, now this mRNA will come out and will give the information to ribosome to make proteins. So now this will make proteins, right? And this process is called as translation. So once again, for protein to form, I'm just telling a short summary of it, children. Later you'll have this whole thing in a chapter. DNA first forms mRNA, we call it transcription, and then mRNA forms proteins, we call it translation. Now we're talking of those animals or those let's say viruses or any other organism which has RNA as the genetic material. So what is this RNA going to do first? Here DNA was direct, made mRNA and then make proteins. But RNA will first make DNA. RNA, see, usually this is the usual method. This is the normal method, right? DNA makes mRNA, right? Here it will be just opposite. RNA makes DNA, and because this is just the opposite of this, it is called as reverse transcription. Reverse transcription, right? And now this DNA, just like the previous, it carries now further the same. Now this extra step is what is we can say like present into those organisms where DNA is being made from RNA by reverse transcription. Now DNA will make mRNA just like usual, and now it will make proteins with the same methods. Like this is called transcription and this is called as translation. So why I'm explaining this short summary is that those viruses which carry the second flow chart of equation for proteins to be formed, they are called retrovirus. Retro means which go back by reverse transcription, right? That is retro. These viruses, they'll carry on this method. That is from DNA, the RNA, they'll make DNA and then again make mRNA and proteins. I hope you understood, children. So that was a basic of the meaning for the word retrovirus because it's come here. Alright. Then tumor virus, just now I told you, those viruses which have the capacity to form mass of cells which have the good power of multiplication and they do not stop easily. Some may be cancerous or some may be benign, that is non-cancerous. ssRNA, that is single-stranded RNA, they are generally linear, that is straight, more common in riboviruses, that is TMV, influenza virus, and in HIV, that is for the AIDS, or in oncogene virus, that is those cancerous viruses, it is a retrovirus. Just now I explained you what's a retrovirus. That is those viruses that carry on their protein formation by this reverse transcription step. Alright, children. So now we come to our new topic for the day, the structure of TMV, right? TMV, a plant virus. Last time I told you how this affects the tobacco plants and who discovered it. Again, in our first lecture we had, that was DJ Ivanovsky who discovered TMV. The year was 1892. So what is the shape of this TMV? It is like a rod. Let me show you again. TMV, here I told you in my first class that this is a rod shaped virus, but here we are talking of the detailed structure, so you are looking like a structure like this. So basically it is rod shaped. Then the length of this is 3000 angstrom. Then this is 300. The same is equivalent to 300 nanometers, 300 nanometers in length and 175 or 17.5 nm in diameter. The genetic material has RNA and yes, the protein coat is definitely there. Capsid, the protein coat is made up of around 2400 identical structures called capsomeres. Then the same are arranged around a central axis in a helical manner. This is the deadliest part of this virus, RNA, helix. Then this belongs to the category of naked virus because it has no outer covering around capsid. See, usually viruses, they have the capsid, that's a protein coat, and another envelope outside it. Then you call them as enveloped viruses. But here there is no outer coating to this capsid. So therefore these are naked. RNA is single-stranded, you can clearly see, right? And helically coiled around the central axis. It extends throughout the virus particle. And TMV, of course, we've done it, was discovered by Ivanovsky in the year 1892. So you can clearly see, practice the diagram, children, and learn the number, that is 2100 capsomeres. Why is it called TMV, children? TMV is a name given because the infection causes characteristic mosaic patterns like mottling and discoloration on the leaves. That is why it is called as tobacco mosaic virus. This we have already done. Viruses, enveloped and naked. Coming now to our last thing for today, that is the structure of bacteriophage. The bacteriophage can be also called as the bacterial virus because this attacks the bacteria. Now last time, if you remember, children, I told you that a virus is much smaller than the bacterial cell and therefore it can pass easily through the bacterial filters. So viruses which parasitize bacteria are called bacteriophages. And how do they look like? They look like this. There's a hexagonal head, and that's containing the DNA inside, covered by a protein coat. There's a collar and there's a tail with end plate and the tail fibers. So who discovered the bacteriophage, children? It was discovered by F.W. Twort in England in the year 1915. Alright, so this is much recently discovered. Look at this year. This was the year 1892, TMV. But this is more recent. When we are talking of the bacteriophage, it is 1915. And Felix de Herelle in France discovered the same in 1917. So both are actually given the credit for discovery, that is Twort and Felix de Herelle. Coming to the shape, it resembles a tadpole-like structure with hexagonal head and a tail. This hexagonal head and a tail. Head is 650 angstrom in diameter and it has a protein coat in which double-stranded DNA is tightly packed. Another difference coming up. If this was single-stranded RNA, you can write it in the bracket, this was single-stranded, then here it is double-stranded. The DNA is double-stranded DNA, which is tightly packed inside the protein coat. The length of the DNA is around 50 μ long. The cylindrical tail is entirely made up of protein. So this is like a protein covering totally, and it has a core tube filled with lysozymes which help in penetration of phage DNA to the host cell. So who is the host? A bacterial cell, right? So this tail actually helps the penetration of the virus, that is this bacteriophage, into the bacterial cell. End plate, you can clearly see this plate or platform through which it lands. Basal end of tail has hexagonal end plate. Each corner of hexagonal plate has a tail fiber. So because it is hexagonal, so you can see there are at every edge one fiber, making a total of 6 tail fibers that are present. Then attachment to the bacterial cell. Tail fibers and the end plate tail fibers and end plate help in attachment of phage particles to the bacterial cell. The upper end of the tail is attached to the head by a narrow neck. That is, this upper end of the tail is attached to the neck by a narrow neck through a collar. The core tube of the tail is surrounded by a contractile sheath. So this works like a syringe or a contractile injection, you can say, and it is attached to the head by a collar. So this collar actually attaches the tail to the head. So I hope you've understood, children. Today, let's see what all things we have done for our new topic. We started with the basic nature of the genetic material, how it is in deoxyviruses, the dsDNA, double-stranded, with examples. Their meanings are explained. The single-stranded DNA, again their examples with meanings. Under RNA or the riboviruses, we talked about examples and their classification under double-stranded RNA or single-stranded RNA. We also studied about the structure of TMV, practice the diagram with labeling and all information or the numerical values about length, etc. Then some questions that I had kind of self-made for your learning. Types of viruses into enveloped or naked viruses. Then we studied about the structure of bacteriophage or the virus or the infectious agent for bacteria. See, if I just show you, suppose this is a bacterial cell. Suppose this is a bacterial cell and it has been attacked by a bacteriophage. So bacteriophage would be landing on the bacterial cell like this, because it's very small than the bacterial cell. So just now I told you how it will land over the bacterial cell and transfer the deadly genetic material, DNA, double-stranded from the head through the tail piece. That is, it will first attach to the tail fibers, make the anchorage very firm and fix itself, and then through the contractile tail, it will puncture into the DNA inside the bacterial cell. And this now becomes affected. So the other details here, this diagram very important. The details, please learn it by heart. And yes, all these extra meanings, student, because they have not been given in the book and I have compiled it for your easy learning, right? So learn it, write it first and go through it again and again, especially these abbreviations. As students of biology, you should know what do they mean. SARS, MERS, COVID, and why is it called so, etc. Adenovirus or papovavirus and the other terms. Here, children, I explained you what is the meaning of a retrovirus. The only thing was, remember this extra step of reverse transcription, right? And the rest is same, just like the previous. This is a normal protein synthesis, but is through the reverse transcription and the protein synthesis continues. So today's assignment, children, is first to copy down all of these, and then yes, you have your textbook pages with you already. See, let's see what all things we have done from our textbook here. We've done the structure of viruses, the nucleic acid as a genetic material, all these terms, capsid, envelope, then protein TMV or the bacterial virus. Next time, we will start with the remaining topics of viroids and prions. So, keep revising, children. Any queries, please feel free to ask, and thank you.